What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video, and in this video I'm going to be giving you guys my takeaways on Bob Quinn on upcoming NFL drafts. So Bob Quinn did like a Q&A, whatever you want to call it, on the Detroit Lions YouTube channel with all of the writers, and they were asking him questions for about 50 minutes. Now, I was initially going to just do a whole reaction and basically just record myself reacting to it, in which I started, and I got halfway through. I'm like, okay, let's do a part 2 because this is super long. And then I was like, well, we can't do a part 2 because, you know, the draft is in 2 days. It doesn't really make sense if I wait too long. So I was like, you know what, let's just do it all. It was so long, I was like, okay, you know what, let me just take my notes. So I took notes on pretty much the whole thing and watched the entire thing, and I'm just going to give you guys my takeaways from what Bob Quinn had to say. Obviously, he didn't give us a lot. You know, Bob Quinn wasn't going to say everything, but he did give us a little bit to talk about, and he cleared up a few things. So let's get it started. All right, now the first thing we're going to start off is with the Darius Slay trade. He was asked about the Darius Slay trade, basically said it was best for the team, coaches talk. We knew that was going to happen. We knew he was going to say a lot about it. He said, you know, there were teams talking to them, you know, back to the combine days, interested in Darius Slay, so they've been in talks for this for a while now. So yes, they traded Slay because they felt like it was the best for the team. He also said that he had a good conversation with Darius Slay before he was traded, which is kind of weird to me, but obviously we all know why he was traded, right? That was a complete mess. And he also would not spill on a lot of things. Like, one thing is, when he talks about the draft, he talks about tiers, like there's tier 1 players, tier 2 players, but he would not specify how many players are in each tier, like how many players are in tier 1, what players are in tier 1, a lot of stuff like that. I'm not surprised. Like, obviously he's not going to give the way. I'm actually better off. I'm actually happy with him not telling us that. I wouldn't want other teams to know that. If we know, other teams will know. That's not good. I'd rather him just keep it quiet and we'll just see what they do in the draft. But he wouldn't spill on that. He wouldn't tell whether or not there were offers on the table for trade back scenarios. Obviously, there's a lot of articles going on right now that the Lions can just, you know, they're not going to trade the Dolphins. You know, trades aren't going to happen. Lions can, like, kiss that goodbye. But, like, I'm still not buying into that. I still believe there's a chance for trade. I think the Lions, you know, could definitely have probably some offers right now. I have a feeling Lions have some offers right now, and they're just trying to decide what's the best. He also, going to the offers, he also talked about how you want to have, you know, kind of something lined up Thursday afternoon if he's going to make a move, depending on what happens. So, obviously, you know, if there's a trade that he wanted to make, he would have something lined up, and then, obviously, if, like, a guy like Chase Young somehow fell to 3, he would take him. So, something like that. He said he didn't want to have to do that with 10 minutes on the clock, you know, on the phone with everybody, because, you know, you can't be in one room together. It's a lot different now that everything's virtual. So because of that, he wants to have some things lined up, some things already kind of figured out, which makes a lot of sense. I get it. So yes, there's probably going to be talks. There has been talks since the combine days. So we don't know if there's any offers on the table or not right now. He hasn't talked about that, but I feel like something's going to happen. I feel like there's going to be offers out there. It's just whether or not he will accept them. Also talked about drafting a player that wouldn't have an impact this season. We know for the Lions that would be a quarterback. Like, we can use our context clues to figure out that's a quarterback for the Lions. For other teams, not really. You know, another team that needs a quarterback would start him right away, or maybe they'd have to bench him because of injuries. But for the Detroit Lions, drafting any quarterback in the first round, second round, those are guys that are not going to have an impact this season because of Matthew Stafford. So Bob Quinn talked about he definitely considers those guys, but what has to happen is those players have to be far and beyond better than anyone that can have an impact this season, and, you know, they'll have those discussions. So Bob Quinn basically has to believe that Tua or Herbert or one of those guys would have to be way better than anybody else that could potentially impact them this season. I don't know if he sees that. I'm not saying he does or he doesn't. I don't think he does. I don't think, you know, after watching this, he's going to go quarterback. So I'm just pointing that out there. That's just my opinion. He may not. I just don't think he will. Players here behind Matt Patricia 100%. You guys have probably seen the articles. People have actually sent it to me, this article. I've read it, but it really came from this video. He said players are 100% behind Matt Patricia. You know, they talked about him. He actually, you know, his reasoning behind that was free agency. He said it really started in free agency with the Ron Harmon trade. You know, we obviously moved out on a few players that, you know, necessarily weren't all in. And he said he can't please everybody, but the players that he did bring in, he felt like were guys that could help right away. The reason that he brought in so many Patriots, he did explain. He said basically because he doesn't know what the offseason program is going to look like. Could be shortened. He wants guys that can help out right away. If they have a shortened offseason that can fit in the scheme, which is something that I've talked about and other people have talked about before. It just makes sense. I know not everybody wants to see all these Patriots, but it makes sense. You know, you got to win games. And you may not have much of an offseason. You got to have players that know what they're doing right away. He felt like he upgraded every position defensively when it came to adding players in free agency, so I thought that was kind of interesting. But going back to the players being 100% behind Matt Patricia, he said Daron Harmon, you know, that trade really kicked it off. When Daron Harmon, he said he's never seen someone so excited to be traded. So Daron Harmon wanted to be a Lion, according to Bob Quinn. He was just super, super excited for it. He said some free agents had their agents call to go play for the Lions, so that's obviously good things, and I'm assuming those are a lot of Patriot players. And then when he said Daron Harmon, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. But it's pretty awesome, and I'm good with that. You know, I know not everybody wants to see all these Patriots, but anybody that wants to be a Lion, I'm good with. So that's good for me. Also said that what's going to happen basically with the league is that after the draft, there's going to be like a 3-week virtual offseason. That's how they're going to communicate with their players. It's going to be all virtual for the first 3 weeks, and then the league would come back and, make another decision and tell them what's going to be up next. So again, we don't know how long it's going to be, and going with that, he talked about undrafted free agents maybe getting less of a chance to prove themselves, and he said he wouldn't bring in tons of them. He may just bring in a couple. We're not sure, just a handful of guys. But, with undrafted free agents, that's usually when they have the chance to impress people is in the spring, but they might not get that now because of everything that's going on. So it's going to be a lot harder, not impossible, but harder for those players, to make a team. So we'll definitely see if they bring in any undrafted free agents. I think that's very interesting when it comes to potentially quarterbacks, when it comes to punters, special teams player. We'll see if they go out and reach a couple. I would not be surprised if they went out and brought in a punter if they don't draft one. I feel like there's going to be some really good punters that are still available. So, yeah, I just wanted to point that out. Someone asked him about what the value of the pick would mean. Like, basically, if you wanted a player, is it makes sense still to your value? Bob Quinn seems like the guy that's like, hey, if I like the player, I'm going to take him. But he also said he has talked about that. To me, the example for that would be potentially the Lions drafting Okudah at 3. I feel like you don't take him at 3. If you can trade back and literally get anything at 5 or 6, then you do it because then you can still acquire him. But we'll see if they do it or not. Maybe he doesn't want to risk another team trying to move in front of them. I don't see that happening. I think if he wants Okudah and that's what he's set on, and that's like, hey, no matter what, I'm taking Jeffrey Okudah, then the Detroit Lions are in a position where if they can acquire anything for 5 and 6, which I know people are saying is impossible, if they can do that, that's what I would do. I don't see him going anywhere before that unless somehow the Giants took him, but then obviously Isaiah Simmons could fall to the Lions, and that would be awesome. So I think that's kind of where that comes into play. He said Stafford's very healthy. If they started the offseason program right now, he'd be playing. He'd be full go, so that's awesome. So, yes, talking good about him. The Tua talk, he said he's looked good, but they had their medical report come out the day after the video, so I'm not sure, what that was like. I don't think I've sing that. And I don't think we will get to see that because he said he wouldn't give that to everybody. So, yeah, I don't know if we're going to get to know that. But, again, he does have his, medical team on Tua Tagovailoa. So he probably knows a little bit more about him now than what he did when he was doing this video. He also said the trading back with teams is a little bit different. He said it's not really where you're on a phone call for, 5 minutes with the team. It's a lot of back and forth. He said he's been doing this since the combine, which is kind of interesting. It makes sense. They'll put an offer out there and they'll come back a week later and, give them their decision. And Patriots and Bob Quinn talked about how he knows every team and, they all understand what he's trying to do, and he'll put something out there maybe, and he'll say this is what we need to get in return to make it happen. So it should be really interesting, man. I would really like to be in that draft room. But again, he wouldn't give really anything specific away, which again makes sense knowing the draft is 2 days away. You don't want to give anything away, and I'm good with that. Don't give anything away, Bob Quinn. Just wait till the draft happens and then show us your big board. No, I'm playing. But seriously, I get it. So we'll see what happens. Talked about the cornerback group, and I thought this was super interesting. He talked about the cornerback group had multiple highly, very talented cornerbacks that was very, very deep. He had some undersized guys that had very good skills, and some guys that were really, really big cornerbacks that were skilled as well. He said it's a very deep cornerback class where there's a lot of talent, and that to me, there's a chance he's talking about Cameron Dancer or really anybody else not named Okudah. So, he definitely believes there's a deeper class based on what he said. So, potentially that means he's passing on Okudah. I don't think there's really any reason to smokescreen Jeffrey Okudah if you want him, unless because, you sit at number 3. No one's taking him there. So, we'll see what happens. But that's really what I got to take away. There's not really anything else I got to take away from that. So that's pretty much all I have. That's 50 minutes, really just summed up really quickly. So I just want to do this quick little video. Again, I'm working on a big board right now. So, that may come out tomorrow, probably tomorrow, where I show you guys what I have so far. I'll ask you guys what changes you want to make. Also, we have memberships now on the channel. So comment below what kind of perks you guys would want. And I know, you don't have to do it. It's not something that, okay, you have to have a membership now because I have them. If you want it, I'll offer them. And that's kind of what my thought process is here. I'll offer them because some people are going to want to see extra things. But let me know what kind of perks you would want. What would you want to get that other people don't get because you're in it? I had a couple of ideas. I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm going to throw you out some ideas. The first idea I had was potentially doing a whole social media thing where, only members would get into a whole group chat. So that'd be kind of cool. I had another idea where I have a lot of videos that I don't upload, that I keep with myself and I don't upload because I'm I didn't really want that one. Or maybe it's a lot of mock drafts there. Maybe you could just extra content, things in there here and there that I don't actually produce. You guys would only get to see them, certain members would only get to see those videos, not everybody, just because, I didn't upload it anyways. So I think, maybe some stuff like that, maybe some unedited, maybe some bloopers. I thought some ideas like that. So let me know what you guys would want for perks. I thought that was a cool idea because I do have a few of those, and those always come up. So let me know your thoughts, comments below. Thank you for watching, and I'm out.